So this particular demo session is a practical implementation. Rather, I would not say machine learning. I would damn say it was data science. Okay, this will be a practical implementation of data science, how data science actually works. Okay. Right. So guys, you have to understand one thing. Whenever we talked about data science or its practical implementation, how the industry is actually utilizing these skills to enhance their business and to enhance their revenue. The thing is that, first of all, we have to understand data. What is the data which we are gathering for our problem? Now, for understanding more clearly, we should look into a small business problem. Okay. First of all, we have to understand what is the business problem. Now, understanding business problem, I'm taking a very renowned company, that is IBM. Now, if I'm taking IBM, now, whenever a person who is working in any company leaves his company or goes to another company, the company face an employee. Meanwhile, the company face a lot of other issues. Means suppose that employee is being under a process of training. So the company is investing, company is paying him. When the time comes, when he has to pay back to the company, what happens? The revenue or the return of investment, what is coming from that particular employee, becomes zero. Okay. So whenever there is any business problem, it has to be converted into what? It has to be converted into a statistical problem and then to an optimization problem. Okay. So if I talked about data science, it has multiple different fields in which it works. Okay. So this will be a practical demo session, how a particular business actually runs and what is a case study or what is the objective. Okay. Now, if I'm taking IBM, now IBM is very worried to know which employee is going to leave the company and which employee is not going to leave the company. Okay. Now, as a data scientist, IBM says to me that you have to figure out who is going to leave my company. Okay. Now, in that particular sense, I should have some information about what? About the people who are going or who have left the company and about those who do not have left the company. So I need data. Okay, so every data science project is actually works on data. So now the major problem comes where the data is. Okay, now I have major problem is where the data is. So somebody says that a data is available on a database. Suppose I say so. Okay, now it is available on database. Okay, I says fine. I'm working on what? I'm working on Python. Now my major challenge is what? Now major challenge come to how to integrate Python to a server. How I will integrate. For this, what I will do, I will take help of a Xampp server, a PHP server. So just give me 1 second. Let me open the Xampp and create a table, and I will showcase that how it actually works. So it will take 2 minutes, not more than that, because we don't find we can have files directly on our systems also. Okay, that too we will see, and we will see this particular process of how to connect to a server. Now, what are the parameters which you have to provide? Just give me 1 second. Let me open the server. Fine. Now I will say, let me say show databases, and I have a database called IBM. So I will say use IBM, and I come up here and say show tables. Do it have any tables? So I say, let us see. Yeah, it has some tables. Okay, fine. I will create my own table. Create a table, that is HRA. Suppose any table you can create. I'm just taking a sample data so that you can have understanding how they'd actually connect, how it actually integrate. So I have say ID. Within ID, I say that ID will be integer, and with that I will have name, varchar. I'm creating a field where the data will be saving. So I'll just close this particular thing. Okay, fine. I will insert some information. I will write insert into what? Into HRA. Values will be, we can have ID by 101 and I have name as Shikha. Fine. And okay. Now I have this particular data into my what? Into my database called IBM, and in which I have a table called HRA. Now I want to fetch this particular table here because the data is on my server. I have to connect this particular data on my script. Okay, so I need to have an implementation of different type of modules. Now Python do not directly integrate with any type of services, whether it's cloud, whether it is database or any other services. We have to use our modules to integrate it. So I have a very smart module called PyMySQL. How PyMySQL, I have to make a connection to it. So I will write PyMySQL dot connect. I want to connect to an IP. So I will write the IP of the server. I want to know the username. My username is root. I have not any save any password, so I don't have password, but I have a database. I say IBM. When I say print con, it will provide. And okay, it says I do not have any module because recently only I have started this notebook. So I will import this particular data. I will write import PyMySQL, or not here, directly import. I will write pip install. So this is a medium how we actually install any of the module in Jupyter or in Python notebook, anything else or whatever you can say. Okay, so when I come up here again, now I will still run this. Now you will find that my I'm getting still an error. So by the time the PyMySQL has been installed, so now I'm going to restart my kernel again. Just restart my kernel. So just let me restart this. Start it. Once it is restart, I will find that. Just give me 1 second, guys. Oh, spelling mistake. And here also. And within this, it says that, oh, sorry, extremely sorry. I have taken some few more inputs. What it is saying takes 5. In it takes 1 position argument, 5 are given. So first of all, just give me 1 second. Let me have the module back. Fine. Okay, it is running. So if anything you want to know about any program, Python is very comfortable. So just write PyMySQL dot. Within this you have a connect. Just run it. And here you have all the things, whatever you want to import or what you want to give. Okay. Now, sorry for that. So I will say, okay, I want to make a connection. I will write the module name dot the method. Within this, first of all, I need a user. Okay. Now, who is going to my user or who is going to my root? Okay. So you can directly write host equal to who is going to the host. You can say my host is this. So you can directly say, or if you don't want to give this host, you cannot give. You can also directly come up here and write directly say, okay, my who is my root server? I say root is my that, and with this and don't. And now I'm going to say print con. Now when you are directly doing this particular thing, what happens? Okay, it takes now 5 position argument are being defined up here. So sometimes what happened, module used to get changed, but no issue at all. I can check and I can rename it particular thing. Now these are the things which you have to enter. So we have taken host, username, password and a database. Okay, port number we have to define. Just give me 1 second. If I am not taking this particular parameter, if I have a file, just give me 1 second. Sometimes happens, no issue at all. If I have a file with respect to this, and don't worry, I will showcase that also. Meanwhile, import pandas as pd data equal to pd dot, I have to close this, read underscore csv dot data dot head. Okay, fine. So we have our data with this. Okay, so once the data, when it is uploaded in Spider or Jupyter or any notebook, what you have to do, you have to first of all see what is the business problem. So what is my business problem? I want to know which person is going to leave my company. Which person is going to leave my company? Now within this data, whenever you want to predict something, whenever you have some sort of business problem, you know that machine learning or deep learning or any other data science technique which understand the data and predict for you on based upon that data must need a data, and we already have the data up here. Okay, now whenever we want to know what will be what we have to predict, it will be provided within the data itself. Now you can see there is a term called attrition. Now what attrition actually means? Attrition means somebody is going to leave or not. So what is our case study? The case study can be understood as we have to predict and optimize the attrition rate. Okay, we have to optimize the attrition rate. Okay, now when it comes to attrition rate, means we have to predict what? We have to predict for a person this particular thing. Now this particular thing is dependent upon what? Is depending upon age. Now if I say a person whose age is 41, his business travel is rarely, he travel, there is a business column which have frequently travel or not. It has daily rates and many things. There are many columns. Okay. Now guys, when you talked about any data science thing or a data science project, it do not have any single step. It has multiple steps. And what are those multiple steps which are being likely to be present up here? So the step every machine learning or a deep learning or data science project is, first of all, the step is what is the business problem? After that, what is the data? After that, how to make the data okay for any analysis or predictions. After that, when we are done with this, we have to formulate how well the data is in order to predict something or in order to grab something from the data. Okay, so coming directly, what I want to describe that we have certain assumptions which we have to keep. What are those certain assumptions? The certain assumptions we have to keep is that, first of all, the data which we got is not a clean data. Okay, it contains some text information, it contains some useful information and some unuseful information. That is a major problem because our computer don't understand what is rarely travel. Computer do not understand what is this research and development. Yeah, but analytics team can understand very well. Now what is analytics team can understand? Now suppose I want to know what are the total number of counts or what are the total number of people who belongs from this particular type of distance travel rarely and who leaves my company. Okay, now if there is a daily rate wages is more and who is also leaving the company, so the company, a person or an analytics person can know. Now from this particular data we have two fields which can be extracted. The first field is of data analysis. Now what data analysis can be meant from this particular thing? Now first question, a normal question, which kind of person? Now the clients, the IBM people wants to know who is leaving more. male or female. Now from the above data, I want to know who is going to leave my company more. Okay, so I know that within this I may have a gender column. So you can display your data columns in a separate manner. I can say data.columns. So this is my column. Within this I can find that is any gender column is mentioned up there. So I can fetch the gender column. So I have a gender column. Now based upon this, I want to know, first of all, I have to extract the data which has only these information. So what I will do, I will say okay, data. Within data, I will write gender. I can say I have to first fetch the data. So first and the foremost only, I can directly skip these things and I can directly say okay, data dot I can say lock. These are some methods which used by a people or different peoples to extract some data. I say okay, attrition. I'm taking this particular data, comma, I'm taking gender, and I say df.head. Now you can see I've only extracted these two things, the attrition and the gender part. I want to know which particular is high. Which particular high means what are the total number of people who are belonging from female who are going to attrit more, which means I have to separately calculate for female data. So I can directly calculate for female data. Within this data I have a gender. Within this gender I know that I have to calculate for the females. Now within this I know there are total number of females. So I can directly just a second, it should be double equal to, because we are comparing. Now if you want to know okay, what is, you can directly say okay, what is a shape. Okay, within this I want to know who is going to leave, means I have to provide a initial base condition who is going to leave. So I'll provide an AND condition with it and write df. Within this attrition, and within this I will directly say yes, what I think so yes. Okay, so these are the two conditions on which I should know. Just give me 1 second. What is the yes? Okay, I think the attrition problem I have not provided with capital A. So these small mistake can be done by anyone. Okay, so you know that we have only 87 females who have left the company, whereas if I compare this to male, if I compare this particular to male, then we can say it will be a male. So male will be M, and this can be as a male term. Fine. And you find that 150 male. So from this analysis, we found that male leaves more than a female. So now this particular thing, this particular condition is a best example of what? Is a best example of analysis. Okay, so these terms or these types of question can be understood as a point view of data analysis, which is a part of data science. Now, the problem is again the same. How to predict that the person will leave or not? Okay, so we have to use machine learning. In order to use machine learning, we cannot feed this particular data directly. I have to first convert this data into two forms of data. First, the data which will be used to predict something, which means in a simple word, if I ask you all, suppose I go to Dwarka to buy a flat. Okay, now the flat I want to buy, I want to know the price. Now you know that the price basically depends on what? What is the area of the flat? Okay, now you also know that the area of the flat okay guys, so area of flat you know. Now guys, tell me something more about, if you are going to buy a flat, what are the things you will require, you will be looking for. I want to give you two flats. If I am a buyer, I want to give you two flats. First, where the crime rate is high, but the price is less. And second, where the crime rate is low and price is high. So guys, where would you expect that you will going to buy a flat? Where the crime rate is high or crime rate is low? Maximum of you will say what? Okay, I want to buy a flat where the crime rate is low. Okay, so now crime rate becomes also a factor. Okay, then what we have distance from metro. Okay, now we have these type of factors which will affect this house price. Okay, but our house price do not affect the crime rate. If suppose I am living in an area, that doesn't mean there should be no crime. If I am living in an area, which doesn't mean the area of the flat will change. That thing will change when Shah Rukh Khan or Amitabh Bachchan will come to Delhi and buy a flat in Dwarka. That time the area flat prices can be a little bit more, but not in a general case scenario. Okay, so from this particular thing we came to know that the flat price is depending upon all these things. In the same way, in machine learning, we have different type of algorithms which are available. Each algorithm should be selected according to business problem. So if I go with machine learning, in machine learning, basically what is machine learning? Machine learning is a field of or a subfield of artificial intelligence. I can directly say that machine learning is a subdomain of artificial intelligence. Within machine learning, it is a process in which machine learn from data and improve the, I can say directly, improve the efficiency in a simple word. Now machine learning has been divided into two fields, that is supervised and unsupervised. Okay, now supervised is also further classified in regression and classification, and unsupervised is further classified into clustering, association, and many more. Okay, so within these algorithms there are multiple algorithms hidden on which we have to select. Okay, I know that I have to predict. Now the prediction will help to understand what type of algorithm. Now I say that I have to predict whether the person or the employee will leave or not. When I say whether a person will leave or not, I am directly saying if a person leaves my company, what happens? Only one thing will happen. My company will face a lot of what? A person who is working for 5 years, just imagine a person who is working for 5 years on a specific project, providing his resource to the company is earning something from that employee. Suddenly the employee leaves the company. I have to find another person who has the same skill, who has the same potential to look over that work. Now that particular thing can cost me a lot. Okay. So retaining a customer or retaining an employee is much more easy than hiring a new person or getting a new employee for any business. If you go for telecom, if you go for IT, if you go for healthcare, and many domains or subdomains you can work. Now, our business problem also have a variable, that is the predict. What we have to predict, I can directly say, okay, I have a variable called which I have to predict. Means what is I can say depth. What is that variable? That is attrition. And the other variables regarding without that, or we can say, or directly say that okay. Now many of the people here will not able to understand this particular complex case study. I totally understand. In order to make our work easy, what we can do, we can understand a very small case study which will help to understand how machine learning works. Okay, so I will be taking the help of this small case study. That is, you know that we have a flower variety. There is a flower called iris flower. Okay, so I go to a botany, or I go to a we can say iris flower data set. Fine. So I have three type of iris flower. Okay, one is iris versicolor, other is iris setosa, and third is iris virginica. Okay, now there was a scientist called Fishers. What he do? How he classify these things based upon the data. So what he gathered this data. Now you will say this data is where? So I have to first of all make you understand where the data is. So let me create the data. So just give me 1 second. Now the data are being available within Askelon. There is a module called Askelon also. From Askelon dot, I can say data sets. I can import load iris data equal to load iris, and within this I will add data. So here is the full data, but I don't want this type of data. So I want a DF data frame. So I will say I will create a data frame, like panda.data frame. Now data frame is what? A data structure. You can say data equal to data dot data comma columns equal to data dot feature underscore names and df dot. So you can see that I have this data. Based upon this data, I want to predict the type of variety of a flower. Now what are those variety? I will say data dot target underscore names. Okay, fine. So on basis of this data, I want to predict whether this plant is setosa, versicolor or virginica in a very basic form. Okay, now when I come to this particular case study, I know that these are my variables which are on basis of what I have to predict this. So what I will do, I will say, okay, I will make a very small machine learning model. How to create a machine learning model? It's pretty simple. All the things are already available by Python. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, so I'll say from Askelon dot. Okay, it's the multi-class. Take neighbors. I said okay, I will take neighbors. I'll say okay, from neighbors I'll say import k neighbors classifier. Now somebody will say, how you know how to implement k neighbor classifier? This thing will be learn, or this thing only comes when you practice machine learning stuff. Okay, you know different type of case study, different type of rules are there to select algorithm. So you will learn when you are going to for the program. So I just take this particular model. I'm creating a very basic. What are there by default? I'm taking that only. I'm not changing anything else. Okay, I'm directly saying okay, this is this. So first of all, I have created a model. Now I have to train my model. So it is very simple to train a model. So data dot, I can say data dot, I can say iloc. Within this 0 to all, comma 0 to all. Within this dot values, data dot target. Fine. Model is run. Now I will say I will take some data. I will say test equal to. I will take some data here. Now I will take this particular thing. 5.1, 3.5, 4.1.4 and 0.2. I will take these values. This will be 5.1, comma 3.5, 1.2, comma 0.2. Okay, I have taken this data. Now I want to know, okay, this data belongs to which flower. I'm not a botanist. I don't know information, but I know machine learning. So what I will do, I will just say, okay, I want to predict something. So I will say model dot predict. Now machine learning model will tell me what is the value, comma, and I will say predict equal to predict of 0. I will run this. Now I will say print prediction species is जो हमारी predicted species है वो क्या होने वाली है, वो होने वाली है feature underscore names of print. Okay, feature underscore name will be present in data. Feature, okay, sorry, not feature underscore name, target underscore name, because I have to find the target. So what variety I have found? I have found my machine learning model. I have not found my machine learning model has created me or provided me this type of information. And this type of information it has created or learned from which? It has learned from data. Okay, now if I'm talking about the same situation which I have taken for IBM, the same data, but the thing is that we don't operate directly on data. We have to go for data cleaning. And making things understand in a very short time, 40-minute session or 50-minute session, it's not possible because the data which we are getting from the servers or any informative task is in a huge quantity. So we have to look forward that thing also. Okay, so if I go for these things, if I go for this particular case study, first of all, I have to convert these travel and attrition rate into a what format, into that particular format. So suppose if I'm going for that, what is data cleaning? Somebody asked me what is data cleaning. So data cleaning can be understood as this point. What are those points? That is, suppose I have a column called attrition. So I say data. Within this, I have a column called attrition. Okay. Now I cannot directly feed this data, so I have to map this particular data. So I will write map. I can map with anyone. So I say yes. I say there is a column, there is an option within this that is yes. I want to map this as 1. Else I want to map this particular data as no. So I will map this as 0. So when I check up the data, you'll find that I have totally converted this particular column into a numerical column, and that part is called data cleaning. Now this is called cleaning part, and this is a major part. If you don't clean the data and you apply the most fanciest algorithm, you won't find any result.